Good morning and welcome to the National Press Club. My name is Keith Hill. I'm an editor-writer with Bloomberg BNA, a member of the Press Club's Newsmaker Committee, and moderator of today's Newsmaker with Mongolian Cabinet Minister Saikhanbileg. After our speakers have spoken, we'll take questions from the audience for the remaining time. The Press Club gives preference to questions from members of the media, and many of those around you are working journalists, so please respect that they are here to do a job. If there are opportunities to ask questions after the press and the audience is finished, we'll invite you to ask your questions. Please keep your questions brief and to the point, please, so that we can get in as many questions as time allows. Everyone asking questions should please identify yourself and state the agency or organization you represent. Before we begin, I'd like to mention an upcoming event at the club that may be of interest to the audience. On December 16th, Dan Akerson, Chairman and CEO of GM, will speak at a Press Club luncheon. Again, please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices. In 2011, Mongolia had record economic growth of 17%, with a majority of its wealth untapped in mining resources. In October of this year, Mongolia's parliament approved an investment law that ended different rules for domestic and foreign private investors. The new Mongolian investment legislation, part of a new government effort to attract foreign investment called Invest Mongolia, provides investors with political and legal stability and proactively provides additional investment incentives that could further improve sentiment towards Mongolian-related investments. Minister Saikhanbileg, who became Mongolia's Science and Education Minister at age 29, has been Cabinet Minister since 2012. He is a graduate of George Washington University Law School, watches Denver Broncos football, and leads Mongolia's Powerlifting Federation. We also have two other speakers here at the podium, or here on the head table. We have Mr. Altai, who is with the Mongolian Stock Exchange, and Mr. Bold, who is chief economist and advisor to the governor of the Bank of Mongolia. Mr. Saikhanbileg, the podium is yours.
Thank you for your warm introduction, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to introduce and talk about investment climate and newest update is what's going on in my country and how we're dealing FDI, first of all. And for the government of Mongolia, we have three strategy, and usually Mongolians like the number three, and three means everything for Mongolians, starting from moon, sun, and fire, you know. It's the beginning of everything, and that's why I trying to explain all this topic into between number threes. And first of all, strategy of Mongolian government of Mongolia is three things. First of all, sustainable economic development. Second, it's provide justice, fight against corruption and bureaucracy. Third thing is well-being of all Mongolians. And to achieve this, we need to also to do three things, first of all. First, we need to diversify our economy. Of course, we need to improve and develop our mining sector. The second thing is that supporting our private sector, we need to finalize privatization of state-owned companies. And also, we're going to establish new Singaporean Temasek-like structures in our economy to deal with state-owned companies. And the third thing is that using these kind of tools, we need to establish sovereign wealth fund, from other well-developed countries. And to achieve these goals, first of all, we need to do three things. And I started with number three, and for Mongolians, it's very important number, as I said. And that's why I brought today our Mongolian fireplace traditional. This is the called in Mongolian tulak, and it has also 3 legs. If one leg is missing, it's useless, and that's why it's very important. And to start with my presentation, I want to start with also from the commercial that we are now dealing with Bloomberg. And Bloomberg come to my country, and we are working how to establish and work on new investment.
Welcome to Mongolia, land of the blue sky, a nation deeply rooted in its rich history. A vibrant democracy with a high-growth economy, with a wealth of resources and an educated young population. Mongolia is a land teeming with opportunities. Invest in Mongolia. Win-win with Mongolia.
And my presentation is called Win-Win with Mongolia, as 3 parts of our traditional fireplace. And today I'm going to cover 3 topics: opportunity, stability, and prosperity for foreign direct investors. And first topic is, of course, I'm going to talk right now about the opportunities. And first of all, we have very good projections on our economic growth. And during the last 3 years, we're experiencing double-digit economic growth. And it was record 17.5 2 years ago. And this year, we're expecting about 12% of economic growth. And according to Economist news magazine, next year we're expecting about 15% of growth. And that's why Mongolia is one of the fastest growing economy around the world. And we will keep this tendency in coming decade. And that's why I think this is the very encouraging news for anybody who is dealing with Mongolia. And the second issue is that we still keeping low our inflation rates, and this year we're still keeping 1-digit inflation rate, and we're also keeping this kind of pace in coming years. And as you know, Mongolia has world-class mineral resource base, and with over 1,000 deposits that have been identified with 80 different minerals around the country. And this is the most important and big mining deposit areas, and we have plenty of different natural resources. And according to Fraser Institute report from 2013, by the criteria of attractiveness of mining sector around the world compared with 96 different economies, we listed in the world as #1. But in terms of attractiveness of government policy, we are far behind of this number, and that's why government is trying to tackle this problem. And also we want to be, government policy want to be as mining itself, and that's why we are trying to accomplish a lot of things in this regard. And we are very rich not only by our natural resource, also Mongolia is dealt with a lot of potential on agriculture sector, and we have 50 million heads of livestock, and we have more horses, more cows, more sheep than our people, and this is also huge potential. And we have most democratic livestock heads, because they're free to choose where to go and what to eat. And it's because of this, specifics of our livestock, and it's based on nomadic style. And this is because of this factor, Mongolian beef, for example, lamb, it's the most tasty product in the world. And I think there is no doubt that Mongolian meat is going to be one of our new brands around the world. And also Kashmir, because of Kashmir also, the quality of Kashmir is best in the world. It's #1. But Chinese usually buying all of this and exporting it by their Kashmir. And now also new policy going to be introduced in this field. And for example, some Italian companies come to government of Mongolia. They want to buy all this raw Kashmir from us, and 50% they're going to renovate our current big 3 Kashmir factories, and 50% they want to ship to Italy for their also worldwide known companies. And because of this policy, our Kashmir sector could be raised from 500 million sector to 5 billion million sector. And this is also one of the examples of our widely established diversification policy. Mongolia is located between our two big neighbors, Russia and China. And we, for many years, thought this is our biggest disadvantage because Mongolia is considered second largest landlocked country in the world after Kazakhstan. But apparently, our disadvantage is becoming one of the most advantages because we have border with Russia about 3,600 kilometers and border with China 4,710 kilometers with China. And Russian market is sixth largest economy in the world, biggest supplier of the national resources toward the other countries, and China the second largest economy and biggest consumer of these natural resources. And that's why connecting to these big markets, it also can be a new form of our diversification of economy. And also not far away, South Korea, and also third largest economy in the world, Japan. And that's why in terms of geographic position, Mongolia is well located in the world. And let's talk about second issue. It's stability. And in terms of stability and second leg of our Mongolian Tolak, the fireplace, this means political stability. And politically, Mongolia is now in free market economy and political freedom. We made very successfully our democratic revolution 24 years ago, and Mongolia is one of the very few countries in the Eastern Asia who has become already the anchor of democracy. And we presided Committee of Democracies during the last 2 years, and really succeeding because we most important thing in Mongolian case is that we doing these transactions in simultaneous two ways, politically and economically. It's the most difficult one, but you dealing successfully. This is the most correct way to develop any country. And until now, 2016, there is no election at all, and all Democratic Party representatives won in presidential election. Our president re-elected, and also we won on parliament, and also we won in local elections. And that's why till 2016, it's really time to act now, make actions, make decisions, and we're really looking forward for this. And in terms of economic, and this is the FDI inflow, and till 2011 we really experienced good, nice flowing in terms of investment, and OT project was booming, and also there was a lot of investment, and that's why some people started to realize why we need foreigners' money, why we need this foreign investment. But apparently, we because of this kind of policy changing, we started to experience some kind of sharp drop in foreign investment, and realized it. No, it's without know-how from Western countries, without investment, without financial capacity, there is no way to develop properly for my country. And that's why I'm assuring, and government is Mongolia now declaring that, it's one thing to make mistakes, but most important thing is that to admit and to have courage and admitting that we have mistaken. And that's why the most important thing is that it's able to fix our mistakes. And that's why we are really concentrating right now on these issues. And we really accomplished something on this. And as a result of our new policy, we just approved new laws on investment. And we also approved new laws on investment fund and also law on securities. And all these laws will be in effect starting from January 1st. Our new investment law is already on effect starting from November 1st. And because of these new laws, we abolished several laws which really caused some problem around the world. First of all, I want to mention about CFIL, because this law on foreign investment regulations on entities operating strategic sectors actually caused a lot of problem around the world, and that's why we abolished this new law, this old law. And what does it mean, our new investment law? There is four most important conceptual ideas. First of all, when we are asking about foreign investors, the two words is coming first from them. What do you want from government of Mongolia? The first reply is predictability and also sustainability. And that's why we address these two issues first of all. And why I'm saying is that, first of all, we provided predictability. It means the all main taxes going to be unchanged. It's depending on the size of investment, starting from 5 years of period of time, finishing with 22.5 years of period of time, that all main taxes will be exactly the same. It's going to provide with some predictability for any investors. And second thing is that we are providing sustainability, because 2/3 of all members of parliament need to pass these law changes, and it's really difficult to make these kind of things. It's under constitution, its law status is really high, and if to make changes in this type of law, you definitely will be required to get national consensus, and it's almost impossible. And that's why I think this new legal environment is going to provide sustainability issue from operators, from investors. And third thing is of new investment law is that we are no longer going to treat foreign investors, local investors differently. By the new law, all differences is now, there is no room for differences and will be treated equally. And fourth thing is that we shifted from approval system regarding foreign direct investors to new registration, very easy registration mechanism. And that's why it's also a very good thing to know. And next important thing is that there was a lot of rumor and talks about Mongolia is going to act new mining law. But we decided that the current law from 2007, it's the law who going to regulate all this mining business in coming years. And that's why there won't be any changes in mining law. If there will be changes, I think only in positive way. This is the intention of government of Mongolia. And in doing business indicators, Mongolia is, now is listed as 76th economy from 188. We approved our position by 12 in last year, and this year also we expecting big changes in our ratings in positive ways. In protecting investors, we listed the 22nd in the world, starting with 25th, and all these positions improved because of government activities. But there is the need to deal with trading across borders, dealing with construction permits and getting electricity, resolving insolvency. These issues right now are on the radar from the government, and we are going to improve all these issues this year, and hopefully our 76th position will be improved much in this year. This is our intention for this year. And now third issue is prosperity issues. And into prosperity, you know, just enacting new investment law and new laws is not sufficient enough, and that's why not only new law, but they should follow by good positive chain of events, and that's why there is a lot of big giant projects is waiting for us, which stalled for several years, and we are unlocking all these stalled issues. And as example, CHP 5 project, it's a very big power plant project in my country. It's started to work with Japanese and other countries' consortium. And second issue is that we made agreement with French and Japanese side also on our uranium. Also, we were talking about for many years. And also, we started new coal gasification project in Mongolia with Chinese company Sinopec. And also, we signed new agreement with China, also selling till 1 billion tons of our coking coals to China in coming 20 years. And this kind of events also is indicating us we're in good shape and in good direction. And not only mining sector, but also infrastructure project is also main important topics right now. And this main route connecting by railroad from Russian border, connecting with Chinese border, and I personally sent letters to Russian and Chinese transportation ministers, and they come into Ulaanbaatar, in capital city of Mongolia, in next week, 18th December, and we are going to discuss the new issue, expanding our current railroad. And we're talking about new Silk Road, as it means, and also this railroad, and also highway connecting Russia and China, also building new pipelines on gas, electricity, and also oil is going to build new opportunities for Mongolian economy. And next issue, it's potential mega project could be implemented in my country. For example, it's coal to gas, as I mentioned previously, and coal to liquid projects. CTL it's called, and there is also with some initiated process going on with together West Germany, and also cold washing and handling plants. And there is also a potential lot of projects and ideas regarding mining sector, and also infrastructure and other branches of economy. Not only economic sector, but also social sectors such as housing and real estate development also will be implemented. Big projects, for example, 100,000 household apartment buildings, etc. And the government of Mongolia is also not looking only after mining sector, but it will pursue other sectors as well, diversifying our economy. And also, we're not only looking after big giant projects, but we will be really will take care about small and medium enterprises and their projects as well as. And that's why the outcome of new investment law, we just established new Invest Mongolia new agency, and this agency is going to deal with all foreign investment companies in coming years. And government also shifting. This is our policy also. During the last 2 years, we really worked in our silent standby mode. Now we will shift into play, and in highest possible volume mode, we're going to continue in these regards. And that's why I myself visited very recently London, also meeting with the business community people, meeting with media, and also was frequent guests in studios like Bloomberg and CNBC and BBC studios around the world, in Hong Kong, in London, in Singapore. And today I also visiting DC area and also meeting with the business community people. Last week I had very fruitful meeting in chambers of commerce, also meeting with potential investors to Mongolia. And when we meeting with major people, they ask about OT, because OT becoming Oyu Tolgoi, it's our biggest copper mining project, and Rio Tinto is invested in this project, and that's why certainly will be issue raised on regarding OT as well, I predict. And as answer for this question is that OT is becoming indicator for any foreign direct investment in Mongolia. And we changed a few things in our OT project. We changed our CEOs on OT project, and also board members, and also the exactly same thing also did OT, Rio Tinto. And that's why the newly established new team is now pursuing one goal, and now start we feel is that we are one team and we need to deal. And second biggest issue is that we no longer consider OT as like political issue, and there should not be any political interference, and it's pure business decision should be made regarding this business project. And that's why I let board people is they need to sit around the table and should make business decisions. And third thing is that in the real life, there never been, 100 against 0 situation like that. Even between husband and wife, there is no such situation. One husband or wife is guilty on everything, And in real life, they're being 50-50 or 60 against 40. I think it's exactly the same situation also applying in OT project. And that's why we need to sit and without any emotion, settle all this problem. And there was 30 different issues was on this stake, and we're settling it very nicely. And about 10 is now left. In coming couple of months, I think we're going to settle all these issues together. And also good news is that at the mid of December, some high-level also representatives, decision makers is also coming to UB. And also we're going to announce our for next year the new project financing, and also second phase is underground work. And government of Mongolia fully supports projects financing and also underground work as second phase. And that's why this kind of good things going to have some kind of confidence toward any investors. And also it's really time to move on and also look after your own projects, not only waiting what's going to happen with OT. And there is the potential 40, 50 projects easily can be done in my country. And that's why everybody should look into own projects. And I really encourage everyone who going to deal with us to look after their projects. And there's also to response of this idea, also government of Mongolia is looking onto our next project, which is TT. It's 5-hill project, Town Tolga. It's biggest coal deposit area in my country. And certainly we're expecting some big players from American market. For example, Peabody is going to be introduced in this project. This is the latest press releases from Turkish Hill and also government of Mongolia. And in coming weeks, months, I think this is the last example of separated press releases is issuing. I think after that, two parties only will issue joint press releases. This is our also very firm belief. And as next thing, Mongolia is the country, with a lot of opportunities and with political, economic, and legal stability. And it could be projects, it could be activities which going to benefit both sides. And when you're investing, expect just one-way traffic. It's not going to happen in any investment. When we're dealing with together with win-win situation, that's the proper way of development. And as mentioned, there were mistakes, and we have real commitment to fix it. And that's why I think there certainly will be challenges, but every challenge creates three more, opportunities. And one opportunity again generates three more solutions. And that's why we're looking after this kind of principles and conceptual ideas that we're going to be in very good shape in coming years. That's the issues I wanted to cover during my presentation. And as any question, myself and also my team will be happy to address all of them. Thank you very much for your attention. And also, memory of presenting Press Club, I want to give it as souvenir to National Press Club, to you.
Okay.
And this is, as I explained, this Mongolian traditional fireplace, which symbolizes eternity.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I will give it to the press club. So, thank you, Mr. Minister. Next, we will have, who's up next? You want to speak? Go next? Or you just want to take questions? Okay. All right. We will now take questions. We're at the fun part of this program. So anybody who has any questions, please raise your hand. Yes.
Good morning. My name is Romina. I'm with Reuters. My question is kind of two-pronged. One, who are you particularly trying to attract, and what assurances can you give that they won't encounter the same problems that Rio Tinto has encountered with the OT project?
I want to address anyone who's interested in dealing with Mongolia. It could be a potential investor, it could be any media group, it could be any individual who wants to deal with Mongolia. And next thing is that Mongolia used to be, we'd like to be in two poles. We used to be a big empire in the past. And also we used to be a small, teeny satellite country in the past. Also we experienced this kind of situation in FDI also. And there was big, important flowing from foreigners. And also there was really a big shortage. And we studying in our, we learn from our mistakes. And we being in two poles. And that's why everybody started to realize, even our some kind of resource nationalists started to understand this is what is the proper way of development for Mongolians. And we now is connecting the good connection, good ties with rest of the world. This is the way of proper development of Mongolia. And that's why we visit a lot of countries, a lot of companies, and meeting a lot of business entity peoples. And they also come to Mongolia. Government of Mongolia is really also announcing their commitment is that we will pursue any single projects and making to happen in Mongolia and gain both gain win-win situation for any project. That's our intention and policy, new policy. Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, I'd like to direct a question to the minister. Sure. What can you give us a list of, say, the 5 countries that have the most investments in Mongolia at the present time?
And unfortunately, United States is not under these 5 countries. Right now, they listed as 8 countries, and there's about 5 first countries who invest a lot in Mongolia. Is of course our 2 neighbors, Russia and China, also Korea, Japan, and European Union. That's the 5 countries investing a lot, and we really want to shift on this one. And because America is the place you should take care about Mongolia, because this is your ultimate place to invest. This is the most attractive country in the world right now, and also government policy is changing toward this one. And that's why starting movement starting with Peabody in our 5-year project, going to lead, going to become locomotive for any of the small, medium companies, big companies to follow the examples. That's the way we're looking forward. Thank you.
Let's see. Anyway. Yes.
Is Mongolia part of the regional trade framework? And if so, how fruitful is that? Has that been?
We have diplomatic ties around the world. It's close to 200 countries, and this number is going starting. And also we have economic bilateral agreements with 42 countries, and also non-taxing agreements with about more than 30 countries, and very active international player in any international community. And myself, just a week ago, 3 weeks ago, I visited London and participated in Open Government Partnership ministerial meeting. And Mongolia is one of only 4 countries from our region, from Asia, is member of Open Government Partnership Agreement. And government is, after transparency policy, after accountability policy from our people, and we're trying to be open for any country, any business deal, and toward any business entity. This is the intention, this is commitment and behavior of our government. Thank you.
Follow up on that question a little bit. Mine is a 2-part question. First, is Mongolia involved in the TPP negotiations that are going on right now? And second, does Mongolia have any bilateral agreements, investment or otherwise, with any of the countries in Asia, particularly East Asia?
Your first question about TTP, right?
TTP, yes.
What?
TTP,
Uh-huh.
the trade promotion Pacific partnership. Thank you.
Okay. And we are the member of World Trade Organizations, and also we made very advanced agreements with, for example, with Japan, and also with China, and strategic partnership agreements with these countries also given to us big confidence that we are on the right direction with dealing with other countries. And just recently also we signed a transparency agreement with United States, and I think it's a really big step towards free trade agreement with United States, and we're really looking forward to this kind of development. And right now also, because of our bilateral treatment with these Asian countries, we're enjoying really good trade and other business environment. And also with the European Union also, we have signed its GSP Plus agreement, which means more than 7,000 Mongolian products can be exported to European Union countries without any tax, in very favorable circumstances. And we're going to keep these kind of things and open for other countries also go with us on this one.
You mentioned mining, one of the main industries, or one of the untapped industries in Mongolia. What about tourism? I can see a lot of Americans wanting to go to Mongolia, myself included. So, what about your tourism industry? Where does that stand right now?
And also, to extra information to previous question is that we now have bilateral trade agreements with 23 countries, and also bilateral investment agreements with 44 countries. And tourism is also one of very potential sectors of our diversifying our economy. And first of all, in terms of tourism, when people think about Mongolia, the first idea is coming about Gobi Desert. It's like Sahara and camels, but it's in one part it's true, but in other part it's not. Because Mongolia, we have very nice forests and rivers. It's like Switzerland, and we have very vast steppe. And also, you can ride horse and you can go any direction without worrying about tree passing. It's Mongolia is 4 times of France, and we have mountains, 16 peaks above 15,000 feet. It's more than 4,000 meters, this is height is especially good for amateurs and also for professional climbers. And that's why in Western area we have this kind of very nice nature. And in terms of developing tourism, we have very ambitious plan. And in 2015, Mongolia going to be main organizing country in Berlin International Tourist exhibition, and we have very ambitious plan to attract more tourists into our country, and that's why tourism could be very good and a big project sector in our economy. And Mongolia is the only place you can experience the shamanism, you can experience the Buddhism, Christian and Islamic religion all together. And it established even from Genghis Khan period of time that all the religion, functioned all together simultaneously in one place. And also you can experience this kind of also deal. And also we very exotic in our national folklore, national instruments, and this is the ultimate place to visit. And because of very dry climate, Mongolia is heaven during the hot summer times in other countries. And that's why starting from May till late October, this is the best period to visit Mongolia.
Mr. Altai, could you talk a little bit about the Mongolian Stock Exchange? Some of the industries that are included within the Mongolian Stock Exchange?
Yeah. So Mongolian capital markets is 23 years old. It was initially set up to conduct the privatization of government-owned assets, and the same thing happened in most of the Eastern European countries, including Soviet Union, former communist countries. We had this voucher privatization. But now I would say that it's an exciting time for Mongolia, particularly for Mongolian capital markets, because as the Minister mentioned in his presentation, the securities market law has been approved, which enables us, we've had securities market law which was passed early in the 90s, but that doesn't comply with the current needs for Mongolia. So with the new securities market law, we will be able to facilitate dual listings. Dual listings meaning Mongolia is a home to about more than 30 international listed companies with assets and projects in Mongolia at the height of Mongolian economic growth. The combined market cap of those companies was 4 times as high of Mongolian GDP. But actually, none of those companies were dual listed or having exposure to the local shareholders or on the Mongolian capital market. So with this law, we will be able to facilitate that. That Mongolian listing will provide to those companies exposure to the local shareholders and also provide some stable environment to operate in the country. Having strong, solid support base in Mongolia through the shareholders is one of the key components of operating in Mongolia. So it's a very important thing. As a stock exchange, we're undergoing major infrastructure changes. We are in strategic partnership with London Stock Exchange, in accordance with which we have introduced the new platform trading, new infrastructure, new post-trading environment, i.e. T+3 international standards, and most importantly, we are in talks with FTSE International to be included in frontier market category of FTSE indices, which means that in case of inclusion, we will be a subject of tracking for passive funds to include into Mongolia, which track indices, global indices. And also besides that, we're in talks with FTSE to introduce FTSE Mongolia series of indices on the local market, which will set up the proper benchmark for Mongolian capital markets. In addition to all of that, we're in talks with MI6 to be included as well, again as another frontier country, frontier markets. So generally I would say that we are having this enormous, tremendous transition. And it's been going successful and the future is there. Thank you.
Mr. Bold, could you speak a little bit about the Bank of Mongolia?
Sure.
All right.
Good morning. Bank of Mongolia, next year we are going to celebrate our 19th anniversary. So regarding of course, the macro policy objectives, we have 2 mandates. First of all, the core objective is the price stability. And the second one is we promote more balanced and sustainable economic growth. If you are interested in about the macroeconomic situation, not only in Mongolia, but also whole Asian region, you know that there was not a potentially, during the last 2 years, it was actually a very challenging period for all of the emerging markets and developing economies. Due to this deteriorating environment of the investment climate in the region, not only Mongolia, but also all of those countries experienced some of the economic hardship and turmoil throughout the 2 channels. One is the terms of trade deterioration, and second one is the FDI decline. So in this challenging period, the Bank of Mongolia's main policy measures was to implement countercyclical policy measures. So one is we implemented the supply shock elimination program with the government to reduce the supply constraints and the supply-driven inflationary pressure. So as a result, the double-digit inflation is significantly going down to a targeted level of 8%. And secondly, there was some of the potential risks we observed, the credit crunch. Those of potential risk never happened in Mongolia because of the some temporary measures to provide some liquidity into our banking sector. So overall banking system has been very sound and stable due to the some of the enhanced supervisory activities by the central bank, and also some of the temporary but necessary measures to provide liquidity into the banks. So some of the statistics I would like to mention, the overall banking sector capital adequacy is 16%, far higher than the minimum requirement of 12%. And the liquidity condition, the liquidity ratio is 43%, far higher than the minimum of 25%. And the third measure that we took was to support and increase the households and nationwide savings into Mongolia by implementing a new sustainable mortgage financing scheme. So as a result, our mortgage holders are increasing dramatically, and the mortgage to GDP ratio, it used to be never exceed 6% of GDP, but nowadays it reached over 14%. So that will definitely, in the medium and long term, to have a positive impact to reduce the inflation, and also to support the and maintain the long-term economic growth. So basically, in conclusion, the Bank of Mongolia, with the government, we actually implemented counter-cyclical policy and also pro-growth policy to respond to these adverse negative impacts into the economy. So overall, the positive direct and indirect external impacts of those measures are fully offsetting the negative impacts and exposures from the external environment. So we believe that after maintaining this high GDP growth, 11.5%, it's actually the third consecutive years that Mongolia is producing a double-digit sustainable growth, and also well-maintained and ensured macroeconomic and financial stability, as well as the well-enhanced overall for investment climate. Those measures were actually the response to the external shocks into the economy. So we believe that 2014 and 15 will be the crucial moment in terms of the macroeconomic developments and in terms of the reforms of the overall economic and financial sector. And our expectation is far higher than the period of 2012 and 13 in upcoming 2 or 3 years. So thank you very much.
Any more questions? Yes.
The Minister, the Mongolian government has suspended, I believe, 106 mineral exploration licenses. What are the plans to either restore them or compensate the companies that had already invested money in that? What are the plans going ahead?
There was the reason, because there was a moratorium on issuing new licenses, exploration licenses, because of this expectation that we going to issue new mining law. But now President and government is very clearly indicated that there is no more new mining law. And as I mentioned previously, that current mining law from 2007 is going to be in effect. But right after that, now it's time for government to act on this regard proposedly, and that's why in the very coming weeks, I think government, our mining ministry is going to propose with new ideas how should we deal with this exploration licenses, and I think in cabinet meeting is going to make decision on this one. But I think my personal belief is that the investors who actually dealt with this kind of commitment won't to harm much, and we will going to coordinate, going to organize that everything will be by law and procedurally correctly And that's why in coming months, I think, coming weeks, we're going to have very clear picture, and everybody will be ready by the next spring exploration process. I think everything will be on place according to this, and government is under discussion how to solve these issues.
Any other questions? Last chance. Okay, I'm going to ask the final two questions, and these are directed to the minister. First, think the Broncos will be in the Super Bowl? Second, are you going to compete in Rio in 2016?
Well, first question is that if there is a good mix, if any organization, it related to government, it's related to, sport team, related to any community, there is the good mix of experience and good mix of young, talented guys and good chemistry between them. I think any organization, any country will be on good shape. And that's why it's led by Peyton Manning, led by new running backs and new guys. I think in February we're going to see Broncos in Super Bowl, no doubt about that. And they yesterday also did plenty of good job, beating Tennessee by a big margin. And second issue, I'm not sure why you asked about Rio Tinto and also asked about 2016. We made agreement. Olympics. I'm sorry, because of OT, I always. Okay. I refer to Rio Tinto, I'm sorry. And the question was,
are you going to compete in the Rio Olympics in 2016?
Of course we go. Yes, of course we're going to compete. And the London Olympics was our major achievement. We got 5 meters. 5 meters. Yes, this was the biggest achievement. And Mongolians is very good on individual sports, and this tendency will go. Unfortunately, this team sports, football, basketball, handball, volleyball, this kind of this really difficult. And the very funny situation with our polo sports, Mongolians very good on riding horses. It starts from 2 and 3 years boys, girls riding horses is very normal thing in my country. And some foreigners come to us, and when they're watching us play polo, you are very good riders, but polo is team sport, This kind of attitude, and that's why we will succeed really good on individual kind of sports, but we're trying to build this team spirit, team sport, and we will be in shape in coming decades. Exactly the same situation about now government policy, We're trying to build again team spirit, collective approach for deciding, solving any problem, and that's why the issues with OT, again, I'm sorry, referring to Rio Tinto, not Rio de Janeiro, and also TT, all this kind of, again, it's team spirit. It's like team sport, teamwork we have to do. And also this government activities, government policy, it's also, again, related on team, work. Its team is going, not individual minister, not individual prime minister or president. It's team, and Mongolia is like one team, is country also going to lead in good direction. And thank you for your last question.
Well, actually, a bit of clarification. Are you going to compete personally, or are you just going to be on the sidelines?
In 2016, I'm definitely going to compete in our Olympics, but it's not Rio, but it's, election for next. Next term.
All right. Well, that's a great way to end our Newsmaker today. Minister Saikhanbileg, Mr. Bowl, Mr. Altai, thank you very much for your presentations. And thank you for coming out in the aftermath of our snow, freezing rain, sleet, and all the other messy weather that we had yesterday. So with that, this proceeding is closed. Thank you. Thank you.